All right, well, it's this week's version of the W Hoops podcast. Danielle, we're just got done watching the third game of the week, but the big news of the week is Caitlin's back.
Yeah, that's very good news if you're Indiana. She still isn't back to 100%, but it makes a huge difference having her on the floor.
And it was clear in the first game of the week that she's not back to 100% yet. The game against Golden State was pretty rough. I didn't
Yeah,
even end up getting to watch it, but I think you saw at least some of it.
yeah, it was tough. It's also one of those like kids' camp days. It was like an 11 a.m. game or something. So tough anyway, but also Caitlin's first game back. But yeah, they got beat pretty badly by Golden State. They got outscored. At one point, the score was 55-50, and then it was 73-53. So they gave up like an 18 to 3 run at one point.
Mm.
And yeah, it wasn't a good game. Golden State has been tough. But yeah, they really needed to win that one. They haven't been more than one game over 500 all season, and that would have been a nice opportunity to kind of push it up. And they're right in the mix in the standings there with Golden State. So you really got to beat Golden State when you get a chance to, because it's Indiana, Vegas, and Golden State are bunched up right kind of one of those three teams probably won't be in the playoffs, right? So you got to make a push.
A- And it was a home
Washington,
game. It was
and
a
it was a
home
home
game
game.
too.
Yeah.
Yeah, you really need to.
But the good news was Clark and Dantas are back, and Timson got good minutes. And really, I think she was the only one who shot above 50% in that game. So those are very good things, having Clark and Dantas back and Timson playing and playing well. So those are kind of the positives you can take from it and then just move on.
Yeah, so let's move on from that game and go next to the Atlanta game. I don't think we need to spend much more time, except there is one thing I wanted to note about Golden State. I was talking to you earlier today. I think Golden State may have discovered a market inefficiency where European players are being undervalued. That them coming in and really just bringing in a lot of international players. People kind of questioned it with the way with their drafting and their signings, but seems to have paid off. So I was telling you maybe other teams should start looking at Europe more like the NBA has certainly. And we can talk more about the one big European fish sitting out there a little bit later. But I think just Golden State seems like so far smart franchise, good coach, great fan base.
Yeah,
There's a good that's been a good addition to the league.
for sure. Yeah. And for international players, it'll be interesting to see too with the new CBA, how it impacts them, because there's some priority rules that impact them potentially with them playing in their leagues in Europe. And then just the money hasn't been as good historically as it is in Europe to play. But so you might see more interest in European players coming over as well.
Yeah. So that's enough said about that game. And even in the Atlanta game, the second game of the week, they still looked a little rusty in the first half, but really got going in the second half then.
Yeah, had a great game from Kelsey and Aaliyah. They've been pretty steady this whole season, but really good games from them. And then Sophie was good as well. She had a double double. I forget, she ended up with maybe 12 points, or no, she ended up with 16 points, 10 rebounds, and just, yeah, really, that makes a big difference when you have significant bench points. You can survive a Caitlin Clark 12-point game.
Yeah, I had in my notes the Sophie Cunningham game. I mean, I
Yeah.
think she was the player of the game, just out there scrapping, getting rebounds, making shots. I mean, she was
Yeah.
great.
And they had a lot of different players guarding Clark, and they're all over Clark, making Clark's life really hard. But I think she wore them out because it's just 40 minutes, or she probably didn't play 40 minutes, but the whole game, whenever she's in, whoever is guarding her is exerting a massive amount of energy guarding her. And like Alicia Gray was 2 for 9 from the floor in that game, and I don't know how many minutes she spent on Clark, but you have to think that that probably impacts that.
Yeah, yeah, but it was
That might be Clark's best defense, really, is just wearing people out on offense when they're guarding her. So they're not as
yeah.
good.
Yeah, Alicia Gray was off, but yeah, that was oh, I'm totally drawing a blank on their point guard's name now.
Jordan Canada, the
Jordan
first
Canada
half.
had the half of her life
Yeah.
against Indiana. I mean, that's part of the reason it was a rough first half for Indiana was
Yeah.
Canada was amazing.
Yeah. She hit six threes, and they said that she had hit six threes all season. And
Yeah.
she's a 24% three-point shooter, so that wasn't going to last, and it didn't. So
Yeah, yeah. She
once the
regressed
second
to the
half came,
mean, but my goodness, that first half was spectacular. 26
yeah,
points.
half,
You can't expect that from one player. Any player. I mean, you're great. You don't
no,
expect that from a Caitlin Clark or Asia Wilson to get 26 points and a half, but to have Canada get 26 points was just
yeah,
phenomenal. And it kept it, it probably what made it look like a better game than it was. I mean,
yeah,
Canada is kind of a huge outlier that
yeah,
gave
because
Atlanta the
really
lead.
none of Atlanta's main players played very well. Bree Jones struggled. Brittany Griner wasn't really effective at all. Alicia Gray didn't score a lot. Ryan Howard ended up with 14 points, actually pretty efficiently, 5 for 11, 4 for 8 from three, but um, yeah, just a rough game overall for them.
Yeah, well, I think Howard got his injury scare and missed some
Oh, that's
time in the
right.
first
Yeah,
half, and Griner was gimping around a little. It looked like she may have banged a knee or something, and she was a little gimpy. And then Jones got in foul trouble. So yeah, nobody really played well for Atlanta except Jordan Canada had the game of her life and
right.
kept him in the game in the first half. And then the second half, I think Indiana scored 59 points, maybe like you said, kind of wore down Atlanta perhaps. And I don't
Yeah.
remember the exact
Atlanta
number,
had 37 in the second half, so yeah, they outscored them by what?
22, yeah.
Yeah, 22.
And the Fever had 27 assists on 35 made field goals.
Yeah.
So that was great to see,
And that's Aaliyah Boston had 8 of those assists. Yeah, she's
yeah,
been having an incredible year.
yeah,
She
great
fouled
passer.
out
Did she end up fouling out? Yeah,
at the
wow.
very end, yeah. Yeah.
Wow. Well, one good thing that is starting to shape up now is the rotation for the Fever is I think the staff with everybody finally back, you know, in health, well, maybe not fully healthy, but playable at least.
Yeah. Knock on
It
wood.
seems like we've got a good rotation right now, maybe
Yeah.
9 to 10 deep.
And I think like really Dwana Bonner leaving ended up being a blessing, not even in disguise, really. It's just been helpful overall because I think like part of their trade that I think brought Sophie to Indiana included Jalen Brown, who's a guard. But she ultimately ended up getting waived in favor of keeping Timson, which I don't know if they were expecting that. And so then their roster was just a little unbalanced to start the year. Um, and when with Bonner leaving and adding Airy, it's a much better balanced team.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a solid rotation now with you have the right starting lineup in there. We got Caitlin and Kelsey at guard. You got Lexi at the three. Then you got Howard and Boston in the front court, and then you got Ari McDonald to come in as a three-person rotation with Caitlin and Kelsey. You got Sophie plug and play with Lexi. You got Timson now coming in to give Howard minutes, and
Yeah, and
you got
meaningful minutes now, not just kind of garbage time. She's playing meaningful
yeah.
first quarter minutes.
Yeah, I mean, and it's a great rotation piece. And then you have Dantas back with her subbing in for Boston. I mean, they really, and you could bring Colson into the backcourt to have a real four guard rotation. Stephanie White hasn't been doing that, but yeah, really, you got a 9 to 10 player deep rotation that's strong. And if Brianna Turner's the weakest player on your roster right now, I mean, that's a deep roster
Yeah,
and people in the right places to rotate in for the right people. I mean, if they can stay healthy now, I think, things are looking really up. And that second half against Atlanta started to show that, I think.
yeah. Yeah, I think I forget what the total was, but between the second half in Atlanta and the first half against Dallas, they had like two massive scoring halves in a row. But yeah, if as long as they can stay healthy, Indiana's not a team anyone's going to want to see in the playoffs.
Yeah, which brings us to the game today with Dallas. It was 64 points in
Yeah.
the first half against Dallas. So 59 points in the second half against Atlanta, 64 in the first
Yeah, it's
half.
123
Yeah, I
in
mean
two halves.
they were. on fire, even though Caitlin didn't have a great shooting day today.
Yeah. They, again, were assisting the ball. Caitlin had 13 assists. Ari had six. Yeah, they were shooting pretty well. Not great from three, but they shot well from the floor. Caitlin had a couple of incredible, like full court passes that were just right on the money. Kelsey had a good game. Sophie had another good game. They were just kind of clicking today.
They were, and Caitlin, you and I were talking about this a little bit. I thought she played a great game, even though she didn't shoot well. She had 5 steals. She had, like you mentioned, a lot of just long outlet passes, getting a steal or getting a rebound, just taking one dribble, getting her head up right away and getting the ball perfectly on a dime to a teammate. And she played great. And there was
Yeah.
a little bit of a potential injury scare on a fast break where Paige kind of defended her and took a swipe at the ball. And I don't know if Caitlin was trying to avoid Paige, but it looked like she fell a little awkwardly into the stanchion and didn't get up right away. And so there was a brief second. It's like, uh-oh, did she hurt herself? But it looked like she was okay. And yeah, great game by I would say that's even though her shot isn't fully back, I think that's the best game I've seen her play in a while.
Yeah, very good. And also only two turnovers. That's usually kind of okay, she has nine assists, but she had, seven turnovers, but 13 assists to two turnovers and add a block in there too. Very good game.
Yeah, a great game.
Yeah.
Great game. Just hopefully, as she gets settled back in, her shooting rhythm will get back and her shooting touch, and she'll get back into having some great games. But she's never been a consistently efficient scorer like Paige. We talked about that some today. She's a spectacular player who makes spectacular shots and can be a little streaky with her threes. Um, and sometimes she can get to the rim if we've always said the hole in her game is kind of the mid-range game, which is kind of what gets you over the hump when your outside shot is off. If you can get a little closer and get to the rim or get a mid-range shot, I think is why Paige is a more efficient player. And we saw that today. Paige made a couple of incredible off-balance mid-range shots that had no business going in, but somehow Paige willed them in. And she had a good game. It was fun to watch her.
Yeah, she's very efficient. Back to kind of UConn. The beginning of the season, she was a little bit more inefficient than we're used to seeing from Paige, but still probably efficient for a WNBA guard. But this game, she was 9 for 15 from the floor, 2 for 4 from three, 1 for 3 from the line. She missed a pair at the end there, but really good game from Paige. Although she did have a couple turnovers, and Caitlin was the cause of some of those.
Yeah, and it's interesting to hear some of the comments Rebecca Lobo made from some talk, I guess they had just sitting down with Paige before the game, just about the physicality of the league, and that's maybe what caused some of the early season inefficiencies.
Yeah.
And I mean, the one comment she made about playing defense was pretty funny. If you want to,
Yeah, they said that the biggest adjustment for Paige was having to learn how to defend while fouling,
right?
because that's how it goes in the league apparently. In college, UConn is always very good at defending without fouling. They're one of the best in the country every year. They're always a top offensive and defensive team. And so she said it's been an adjustment to have to learn how to foul people
Yeah.
while defending.
Yeah, which is a frustration for me. It's one of the reasons we love watching UConn. It's just they play beautiful basketball, right? I mean, on offense, on defense, it's team oriented, it's good freedom of movement. It's all the things I love about the game of basketball is how Gino teaches the team to play. It used to be how Bobby Knight taught IU to play is, there was always a statistic that IU under Bobby Knight always shot more free throws than the opponents attempted because IU just played clean defense. He taught them to, I mean, they were hard nosed, they were physical appropriately under the basket, but, they just played clean, good defense like UConn does. So to hear that comment from Paige was pretty funny, that she
Yeah.
had to learn how to play defense with fouling. And you'd think it would make the WNBA wake up on a national televised broadcast
Yeah.
to have, superstar like Rebecca Lobo, Hall of Famer Rebecca Lobo, as Ryan always says, to talk about that. I mean, I would hope it would embarrass the league a little bit and they would make some
I don't
changes.
know. Kathy Engelbert, the commissioner, there was some comment that went around because several coaches have complained pretty vocally, including Steph White. But Angel Reese complained recently. I know Vegas has complained. I think Cheryl Reeve has complained as well, pretty vocally about the reffing. And then at some point, some comment came out from Kathy that was like, it's interesting that only the losing teams complain about the officials. So that's not fun to hear. She should be saying, yeah, we're working on improving all aspects of the league with all the growth and all that. But to kind of say, oh, that's just sore losers complaining is annoying.
Yeah, it's a bad look. I
Yeah.
mean, even if you know if there's a kernel of truth to it, it's a really bad look for the commissioner. And you and I
Yeah.
were talking about, I don't remember what happened. I don't know if it was the Ryan Howard injury. There was some injury that was from obviously overly physical play this week, and just talking about how the ref's number one job should be player safety.
Right.
And part of that is controlling the physical play. And,
Yeah.
the commissioner shouldn't be joking about it when players are getting hurt
No,
because of,
but yeah.
yeah, it's
But
just
this
frustrating.
is Kathy did show up to the finals game in a New York skyline dress last year. So, I mean, I don't know how much you can expect from her.
Yeah, yeah. Well, it was just funny to hear that. The things that we've talked about a lot recently, amongst ourselves is that how the physical play is increasing. How one of the reasons we started watching women's basketball a lot more than men's basketball because it was because of the less physical style of play, the more freedom of movement. You get the beautiful game of basketball where you have Paige, making great shots, AZ making the freedom for Caitlin Clark to play the style of offense that they did at Iowa. It's a lot more fun to watch than a
Yeah.
50-49 slugfest in, you know, the NCAA tournament on the men's side. I'd
Yeah.
much rather watch a game that's got beautiful, skilled basketball. And that's why for the past 10 years, I've loved watching women's basketball. And I really hope that they'll start taking these concerns seriously and not make snide remarks to the media. And
Yeah, I think it might be time for Kathy to be replaced, but we'll see. I don't know who's in control of that, probably the NBA. But the nice thing is that the pretty basketball teams still do win. Like the past, if you think about the winners, the last 10 years or so, they all play pretty basketball. So, like the Connecticuts of the world were able to get to the semifinals quite a bit over the last 5 years and even to the finals once, but they never were able to win. And
yeah.
pretty basketball still wins in the WNBA, so that's nice.
Yeah, and we're maybe transitioning off the specific games and to more broadly speaking about Indiana. We were looking at their net rating on the WNBA site, and the top three teams in net rating are the three teams that probably play the prettiest basketball. You got Minnesota number one in net rating by far. They got 12, I think it's 12.0
Hmm.
net rating. Then you've got New York is second, and would probably be maybe closer to Minnesota if it weren't for all the injuries they faced.
Yeah,
Um,
and Phoebish missing games for Eurobasket.
right. So 8.9. And then Indiana's third in net rating right now, which is amazing considering all the struggles they've had with injuries, players being gone, the Dewana Bonner episode. And, it's just pretty amazing to see that they're third in net rating right now.
Yeah, and I know people are giving Steph White a hard time, but she has dramatically improved the defense. And you have so much offensive firepower that like the offense is going to be okay. Improving the defense was really, really important. And they went from I think bottom of the league last year to I think sixth this year. So that's significant improvement.
Yeah, I think they're sixth in net rating, or sixth in defensive rating right now,
Yeah.
which is
And
great.
yeah, people like to say defense wins championships, but offense really wins championships. But you can't be a bottom of the league defender and win championships. So if you can at
Yeah.
least be an average defender and have great offense, you have a chance.
Yeah, that's right. So I think adding Howard has helped. She's
Yeah.
a really good defender, and yeah,
Yeah.
and then Steph White hopefully has instilled that too. So yeah,
And Bree Jones, I think it sounds like Bree Jones, one of the assistant coaches, that was kind of her main thing as a player. She was a great defensive guard. I think it sounds like she's been a pretty impactful for the guards, especially on defense.
yeah. So a rough start to the week with the Golden State loss, but kind of understandable with trying to integrate everybody back into the lineup. But yeah, with Atlanta and these Dallas wins, a good way to uh, wrap up the week. The team looked really good today, and if I mean, to win so easily with Caitlin shooting so poorly bodes well for
Yeah.
the rest of the
And
season.
Yeah, to be in that position to have like those metrics, but also like they are barely over 500, one game over right now, but to like think if we can stay healthy, get in the rhythm, have to feel pretty good going into the playoffs, whatever position you end up in. Um, but they really Atlanta just lost to New York, so they're up to 9 losses. So they're only one loss ahead of Indiana. So Indiana could catch them. Seattle is up to 8 losses, and New York and Phoenix each have 6. And I sent a message earlier to our group chat that was like, 4 of Indiana's losses were by a total of 7 points.
Mm,
So they
yeah,
could very easily, instead of be 11 and 10, they could very easily be 15 and 6. And that would be second place
probably.
right now. If they were
Hmm,
15 and 6, they would be right behind Minnesota, ahead of Phoenix and New York, who are 14 and 6 right now.
yeah.
So,
So, I mean, their net rating reflects that, right?
yeah.
They're the by net rating, they're the third best team in the league right now, and that's seems right with everybody healthy. Now I think they've got their rotation figured out with Dwana
Mhm.
Bonner gone, her not taking up minutes, or she was just giving them a lot of bad minutes, and now they've got Ari McDonald instead, and
And
figured
you have
out,
options now. If Howard's having an off night, you can go with Timson, or
yeah.
if Kelsey is off, you can, put in Airy and go a little smaller. But yeah.
And Colson's always a steady backup if
Yeah.
needed, and I mean, there's just, like we said, a 9-10 player, great rotation. And with Brianna Turner as a 11th player, just in case of injury or emergency foul trouble, I mean, she could give you a few minutes and be fine in that role of just 4 or 5 minutes
Or yeah,
a
if
half.
Boston gets in foul trouble in the
Yeah,
game, she can
exactly.
go in and get some rebounds and
She's a good
guard,
defender.
set screens. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
So, I mean, yeah.
she's not someone who's going to go in and try to chuck up a bunch of shots. She's going to play her role and, do what she can do well.
Yeah. Yeah, I think the roster is set really well right now. With the one thing we would love to see is the addition of Emma Meesseman. So, any news on the Meesseman sweepstakes?
No, I haven't seen anything. Today is the last day that teams can waive unprotected contracts and like not have to eat the rest of that salary. So there have been a few players waived in the last couple of days, but um, no word. It sounded like at some point she had 3 teams in contention: New York, Minnesota, and Phoenix. But it sounds like Phoenix is out of contention, and they went ahead and signed Dewana Bonner after that. But New York has cap space and Minnesota doesn't. If she goes to New York, it's just almost unfair. Like I think they win pretty easily if she goes to New York. Although I don't know what they would have to do. They have the cap space. I think they would probably have to waive someone. But that's crazy. Even if John Quell doesn't come back, they'd probably still be the favorites to win if they can get Meesseman.
Yeah, I think so. And they may, I mean, who knows how long John Quell will be out.
Right.
So
Then if
maybe,
they get her, there's no rush to get her back. She can kind of come in slowly, take her time. But that's rough. That you almost play Phoebish at the 2 and bring Natasha Cloud off the bench. I don't know what you do, or do you bring Meesseman off the bench? I guess you could do a lot of different things. But
you mean
Meeseman's an
once John
incredible
Quell
player.
comes back?
Hmm.
Uh,
Yeah. What do you do?
yeah.
Do you have John Quell, Stewie, Meeseman at the 3, Phoebish at the 2, and Sabrina? That would
Wow.
be your shortest player, 6 foot. That's brutal. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I would think at the beginning you'd bring Meesseman off the bench if,
Yeah.
but I guess, well, if she comes, while Jones is still out, she'd be starting right
Sure.
away, and that would be a
Of course.
great
Yeah.
starting five.
Yeah.
And then I would think, I'd imagine you'd put Meesseman back on the bench and go with your starting lineup, and that's what I would imagine would
Yeah.
happen.
She
But
might
that's a
close
great,
games. It probably would be matchup
maybe close
dependent a
games.
little
Yeah,
bit. Yeah.
yeah. But yeah, well, maybe there'll be news today. Still holding out hope there'll be Indiana or Minnesota personally.
Yeah. If she went to Minnesota, I think Minnesota is a better team than New York, but it's close, if healthy for both sides. But both teams did waive someone in the last couple days. So we'll see. Minnesota waived Peely. Los Angeles waived Mercedes Russell, but I think that's because Cameron Brink is coming back, hopefully. So she'll be activated. New York waived a bench player. So we'll see. But yeah, that
Yeah.
is going to potentially affect the championship this year.
Yeah. It sure could. You know, if she decides to come, that could be a big impact. And then another thing that was fun this week was the All-Star draft.
Oh yeah.
So just having the team captains make their selections. And so you feel like Team Collier, or is this Team Unrivaled or Team Huskies? I don't know what team it
Right.
is, but you feel like Nafisa has the better team.
I think so. I mean, they have Nafisa and Stewie and Alicia Gray in their starters, and those are three of the top 10 certainly players, and well, even better than 10 probably. Alicia Gray has been so good this year. But then they have Alyssa Thomas on the bench. They have Skylar Diggins. Yeah, they're pretty tough. They have Paige. Um, but I mean, they're all good. It's all stars. Caitlin has a good team too. She has went with a little bit more of some shooters. But I would expect to see Team Fee win, but if some people get hot on Team Clark, they could certainly win as well.
Yeah. I mean, and the thing that I would be concerned about if I were Nafisa is just the size on Team Clark. I mean, they got Boston and Asia
Yeah,
and Sabali, and they've got a pretty strong front line there. And I don't know how that's going to work out for spacing the floor exactly. I mean, Satu can certainly space the floor out to the three, but you know, maybe they can play some high-low with Boston and Asia. So they're gonna have to go like three out and two in, I think.
yeah.
But yeah, I mean,
It'll
it
be
should
fun
be
to see
fun.
the South Carolina bigs together too, though, with Boston and Asia.
Yeah, yeah, it's gonna be a lot of fun. So one other thing, well, a couple other notes that I thought were interesting. You know, so Las Vegas played the Valkyries in a very high scoring game, like 104 to 102.
Hmm.
Um, so I thought, oh my, maybe Melissa Smith really scored a lot of points, and that's because because that was their weakness, the offense from the four position. So I went and looked, and if I'm recalling correctly, I think she only played 9 minutes in that game. I don't know where her minutes got distributed to, but
Yeah.
why is the Alyssa Smith experiment in
Well,
Las
so
Vegas already
Megan
over?
Megan Gustafson is back. She's been out with injury most of the season, so I guess it looks like she played 20 minutes, so I guess it went to her. And she was actually plus 17 in that game that they won by 2 points, so um, I guess that went well for them. But yeah, that is surprising to see. They just got her. I think she came off the bench in the first game, then started the next two maybe, but she's already in the doghouse. I don't know. She
Yeah,
did get four fouls, it looks like, in 9 minutes, so it's not great.
yeah. I mean,
But yeah, it
we were
shouldn't be a
shocked.
surprise.
No, we were shocked that Las Vegas made that trade for her. They were looking for the right type of solution for a
Yeah.
starting level four, but yeah, Melissa Smith is not the answer. And it looks like, I mean, we'll see. You know, we'll keep our eye on that for the rest of the season. But I just thought that was interesting already. What in
Yeah.
just the third or fourth game, she's already down to just playing 9 minutes in a close game. So yeah, that was
Yeah.
kind of
Ja
surprising.
Jackie Young had a good game. She had 30 points, and like a couple of them were like in clutch, like, to stay ahead at in the last minute or two. So that was nice to see. She's had a bit of an up and down season, but um and very efficient, 9 for 14 from the floor. Perfect from the line, 11 for 11.
Yeah,
So,
she scored like the last 7 or 8 points for Las Vegas down the stretch when
yeah.
winning time. So yeah, she had a really good game. Asia clearly had a good game, but looks like the two of them carried the load offensively, and
Yep.
so they still don't have the answer yet at the four. And we could have
Yeah.
told Becky if they'd asked us that Melissa Smith was not the answer.
Right.
Um, then one more news and notes. I had looked earlier, and I'm looking here again at the Tankathon website, the WNBA, and again, it's still uh, current. If the season ended today, the five lottery teams would be Los Angeles, Dallas, Chicago, Connecticut, and Las Vegas in that order. And Dallas is the only team that owns its own pick. I
That's
mean,
crazy. People and like the college players are so good. Like the last couple classes, the upcoming few classes are very talented. People are not valuing these picks for some reason.
Yeah, in Seattle, you and I were talking about it. They really seem to have won that trade, the three-team trade between them and Las Vegas and Los Angeles that sent Jewel Lloyd to Las Vegas and Kelsey
Yeah.
Plum to Los Angeles because they've got Los Angeles's pick and they've got Las Vegas's pick in the 2026 draft and they got the number two pick in the 2025 draft. So,
Hmm.
I mean, if unless Las Vegas, which I mean, we expect Las Vegas will get into the playoffs. But
Yeah, probably.
right now, Seattle has two lottery picks, which is just crazy.
Yeah, that is. And they're kind of at an interesting place because they have a lot of veteran players on their team, but to get some lottery picks, to get some low salary players will help them a lot because they have NECA and Skylar who are older. Erica Wheeler, Gabby is not old, but she's not that young. So to kind of get some youth infused into that veteran group is going to be helpful for them.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's going to be interesting to keep an eye on that as the season goes on. But, one other thing, just as we go to our next segment, maybe what were they thinking? Kind of related to I think we only have one question this week. Sometimes we each have one, but, it's the Golden State Valkyries game for Indiana with their starting lineup. I mean, what were they thinking going so small?
Yeah, and they started Aerie along with Caitlin and Kelsey, which is just crazy. You have two undersized guards with Kelsey and Aerie, and then Caitlin has good size for a guard, but she's not a great defender, and Kelsey's not a great defender, and Aerie's a good defender, but she's only 5'6", or listed at 5'6", so that's not a good not a good option. They can't do that a lot, and certainly not against good teams.
I don't think they should do it ever. Like
Yeah,
we were talking about earlier, I think they've got great pieces to have a great rotation, but it didn't make any sense that lineup, and it clearly ended up with a 19-point loss. But it looks like they've adjusted. But the one other thing, I don't know, just to keep an eye on, you've noted this early, is that it seems like Lexi Hull's minutes have been down some, and so I don't
hmm,
know if there's something going on there or not, but yeah, she just seems to be not playing as many minutes as she had been. But when she's playing, she looks fine. I don't see
yeah,
any issues with her as far as I can tell.
right.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on there.
Yeah, it's hard to say if they're just like trying to figure out the rotation or what it is, but her minutes have definitely been down. But yeah, she's still hustling, still looking good out there. Not scoring a lot, but hitting the open three like we're used to getting at some layups.
Yeah, so that's something to keep an eye on for Indiana. I mean, Sophie looks like she's hopefully fully recovered from her ankle injury, and she had two strong scoring games this week. So, it doesn't really matter so much.
Right.
She's picked up those two kind of share the three spot, and as long as you're getting scoring from one of them, we'll be okay.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
yeah, it's going to be something to keep an eye on. I think Lexi, it really earned that starting spot. She outplayed Dewana Bonner, kind of led to Bonner leaving, which has been a net positive. So I hope
Yeah.
that Lexi's, if she's not fully healthy, I hope she gets fully healthy quickly. And if so, again, great roster construction right now. I think the one
Yeah.
thing we talked about is we would like to have maybe a bigger uh, defensive oriented guard in the rotation would be the only weak link I think in the roster at the moment.
Yeah, so that's something to look for next year. Or maybe even they could, I don't know who it would be, who they could sign now, but certainly for next year, you'd hope to get someone like an Alicia Gray. I would love Gabby Williams or Jackie Young, but I don't know. Jackie might be thinking about leaving with the year Vegas has had.
Yeah,
Come home to
well,
Indiana.
yeah, come home, Jackie. The crowds will love you.
Yeah.
So, yeah, so hopefully. All right, well, how about for this upcoming week then? I think they've got a couple of games and then
Yeah,
the
they do.
All-Star
They
game on
have,
Saturday.
yeah, they have Connecticut again, unfortunately.
Oh no.
Thankfully, we're done with Atlanta for this year. It's such a weird imbalanced schedule that they played Atlanta. It's halfway through the season, and we've already completed all the games against Atlanta. It doesn't make any sense. But happy to be done with Atlanta. We have Connecticut again on Tuesday, New York, and then the All-Star game where the big three are playing in the All-Star game. But I'm sure that won't be too strenuous. But we'll see who's competing in the 3-point competition. It seems like you should have Caitlin and Kelsey in that, really, at Indy, but we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, Connecticut, maybe we need to start calling that the bubble wrap game. I don't know.
Yeah,
We just hope they come out of that game unscathed and
yeah.
uninjured.
Hopefully, Ari can play some heavy minutes in that game. Let Caitlin rest a little.
Yeah, so then, yeah, back to backs, unfortunately. I guess both games are on the road, so, they'll be traveling to the Northeast to play at Connecticut and at New York, and then back home for the All-Star game.
Yeah,
So hopefully, yeah, I don't know that New York game. Probably you would expect a loss, I think, on the road, but
I think
hopefully
so,
they can get the
especially with
Connecticut win.
Peevish back.
Yeah. So
But
then
if
they'll,
even so, that they'll still be over 500 if they can win at Connecticut. So then they have to play Connecticut again right after the All-Star break. So
or New
that's
York
too bad.
again.
Oh, yes, New York again.
Yeah, yeah, that is too bad. And on the road again, right?
Hmm.
Yeah, that's going to be a. So they're just hovering around 500. It just feels like they can't. It'd be nice if they could get on a winning streak. They haven't been able to do that yet this year.
Yeah.
It would
We'd
really
like to
be.
steal one against New York, but we'll see. Then they get Vegas after that, so that's not a guarantee either.
Yeah, yeah. So then Chicago after that, and Angel Reese has been playing really well. And
Yeah. She's been rebounding, she's been scoring, and she's been passing the ball really well. So watch out.
yeah, I mean, I was saying earlier in the season, I thought for sure she's only her future as being a Dennis Rodman, who was a great player on championship teams, but he was a role player. He was never
Yeah.
strong offensively, and I thought she could be a great player if she would
Hmm.
really stick to her role, but she's on a roll offensively right now,
Yeah.
and
I think her path is like an Alyssa Thomas, but with shoulders. So like who can actually potentially shoot or learn to shoot because Alyssa Thomas can't even raise her arms above her shoulders really with her torn labrums. But yeah, if Reese can become a facilitating big and kind of focus on the facilitating and let the offense come, she'll be a top player in the league for a while.
yeah, she will. All right, well, I think that's it for the W Hoops podcast today. Everyone, please be sure to subscribe and leave a comment or a review, and we'll see you next week.